Okay, we're ready?
When Ryan says. He has all the power right now. Go ahead.
It's a good question.
It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, that's a good question, yes.
Good question.
You said that you didn't want to act forever, that you wanted to get to the other side of the camera. And in a separate statement, you said that you're tired of acting and you want to take a break. So this project is like a perfect manifestation of these two statements. Was it clear to you from the beginning that you didn't want to star in your own movie? Did you think it would be distracting?
Well, I will say that there's some guys out there that are acting and directing and making it look easy, and it's not. And I don't know how they do it, because this took everything I had. But no, I mean, it wasn't about like directing versus acting, or you know, I certainly wasn't trying to sort of like distance myself from that and do this now. It just, this came about in a very sort of what felt like a natural way, which was that I went to Detroit and I had an experience there, you know, and I wanted to kind of share it, and it felt like directing it was the best way to do that.
As you said, you got inspired to write this story by Detroit and the poverty of the city. So apart from the artistic and metaphoric layer of the movie, did you want to make a political and social statement with this story?
It's not a political statement. We tried very hard to keep it from being that, you know. I mean, we tried to keep that on the outskirts of the film because we were trying to focus on just the emotional story of this family. And it wasn't like the poverty per se that was an inspiration. It was that, you know, I'm from Canada, and you know, like any Canadian, you know, America just sort of looms large in its legend, and certainly so did Detroit. And I had a lot of romantic ideas of what Detroit was like when I was a kid. And then I didn't get there till I was 30, but it's very different than how I imagined it. And there's, in some cases, you know, in certain areas, there's miles of abandoned neighborhoods. And within those neighborhoods, there's families, you know, living amongst buildings that are being torn down or burned down. In some of the cases, they don't get water or power to the streetlights. So it's very surreal, and for me, I felt like I wanted to make a movie about one of these families, but I didn't want it to get bogged down in socio-political, you know, economic minutia. I just wanted to focus on the emotional landscape of a family trying to survive in that kind of a situation.
It's the world of Lost River is quite dark, as is your music that I really enjoyed, but it is quite dark. How big is this part of your soul that is producing these dark things?
Well, look, it's a practically speaking, it's a dark place because in a lot of cases there's not like street light, you know, and it's, you know, we try to focus though, I think, on the hope and the romanticism and the dreams of these characters. But in order to do that, you know, you have to kind of acknowledge the reality, which is that it's a very dangerous and ominous and threatening environment for a family to be living in. So as much as it's dark, we weren't trying to make a dark film. We really were trying to make a hopeful, romantic, like love story about a family.
I think your story is so inspirational. You said a couple of times that you were not the most popular kid at school, that you were bullied up to the point that you had to be homeschooled. Do you feel like you want to share your story so that the young kids don't feel like the social ladder at school is something that determines their life, that they can do whatever they want and they can be whatever they want?
Well, I think, you know, being a kid kind of, you know, in that respect does, in like high school, does prepare you for life, you know, because anytime you're trying to find your own way or figure out who you are and not be a part of, or just assimilate into a group, then, you know, you pay for that. People try and sort of shame you for doing that, you know, so it kind of prepares you. But I think the things that inspired me from when I was a kid was that, you know, I sort of grew up with a single mom, and she was very beautiful. And, you know, when you're a kid and you have a single mom, you know, just most men feel like wolves, you know. There's a sort of predatory energy around you, and it's very threatening. And I tried to tap into that in this film, but in a more sort of like a mythical way, you know, and create a fairy tale landscape where that's how it feels to be a kid.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.